The Bristol Beaufort was a British twin-engine torpedo bomber developed in the late 1930s and used extensively during the early years of World War II. The British Air Ministry recognised the need for a modern torpedo bomber to replace the ageing Vickers Vildebeest biplane, and the Beaufort was developed to fill this role. Its design was based on the earlier Bristol Blenheim light bomber, but with modifications to allow it to carry torpedoes. It was given the name Beaufort after the Duke of Beaufort, whose ancestral home was close to Bristol in nearby Gloucestershire. The Beaufort was of all-metal construction with fabric-covered control surfaces. It had a crew of 4, the pilot, a navigator who doubled as the bomb aimer, a wireless operator who also mained one of the aircraft's machine guns to defend against enemy fighters, and a dedicated gunner for the dorsal turret. The Beaufort had a wingspan of around 57 feet and a length of about 44 feet. Due to the growing urgency of the RAF to procure a new torpedo bomber, 320 units were ordered straight off the drawing board. The first prototype rolled out of Filton in mid-1938, but due to ongoing teething issues, it was not until November 1939 that production started in earnest. Final service entry began in January 1940, with 22 Squadron of RAF Coastal Command. Powered by 2 Bristol Taurus radial engines, the Beaufort had a top speed of approximately 265 miles per hour and a range of around 1,600 miles, depending on the payload. This made it suitable for anti-shipping missions and long-range maritime patrols. When it came to ordnance, the Beaufort was versatile. It was designed primarily to carry torpedoes, but it could also be fitted with bombs, mines, or depth charges for various roles. Initially, it was criticised as an exceptionally poor bombing platform, being subject to an excessive and continuous roll, which made determination of drift particularly difficult. After 1941, British Beauforts were fitted with semicircular plates on the trailing edges of the upper wing behind the engine nacelles to smooth airflow and improve directional stability. For defence, it was equipped with machine guns in the dorsal turret and nose, and it had the capacity for additional guns in beam positions. The Beaufort went through several variants, mostly involving different engine configurations and minor changes in armament. The most notable variant was the Australian-built DAP, Department of Aircraft Production, Beaufort, which was manufactured in larger numbers than the British-built versions and featured American Twin Wasp engines. More than 700 Australian-built Beauforts saw service with the Royal Australian Air Force in the South West Pacific Theatre, where they were used until the end of the war. During World War II, the Beaufort was employed primarily in the maritime strike and reconnaissance role. It saw service in several theatres, including the North Atlantic, Mediterranean, and Pacific. Beauforts were instrumental in attacking shipping in the North Sea and the Atlantic, and they played a critical role in the Battle of the Atlantic, helping to protect convoys from German U-boats. In the Mediterranean, Beaufort squadrons based in Egypt and on Malta helped interdict Axis shipping supplying Rommel's Deutsches Afrika Korps in North Africa. In the Pacific, Australian-built Beauforts played a significant role in attacking Japanese shipping and ground targets. As the war progressed, the Beaufort began to be replaced by more capable aircraft, including its own derivative, the Bristol Beaufighter, which was a more heavily armed version developed as a long-range heavy fighter. The Beaufort also flew more hours in training than on operational missions, and remarkably, more were lost through accidents and mechanical failures than were lost to enemy fire. The Bristol Beaufort was a versatile and important aircraft for the British and Commonwealth forces during the early years of World War II, especially in the maritime strike role. Its ability to carry torpedoes as well as bombs made it a flexible and valuable asset in several theatres of the war.